tell us about Pulsar Helium. What does the company do and how did it all begin?
Pulsar Helium, as the name suggests, it's all geared towards helium. So we're part of a new industry which is going off and looking for primary occurrences of helium. Primary being where helium is the primary economic driver, whereas typically helium has been a byproduct of natural gas production. We look for reservoirs where it's helium dominant. And it all started, well, really, I guess Pulsar was born in 2019. And that's when we became aware of a discovery that occurred in Minnesota for what is now our flagship Topaz Project. It was a helium discovery that was made by chance, a company that was out there drilling for nickel, and they actually hit gas, and that gas came back with extremely high elevations of helium, and that really got our interest. And then we went off, and now we're a listed entity in both Canada and in the UK. And we have the project in Minnesota, Topaz, and we also have a second project, which is the Tunu project, also primary helium in Greenland.
That's great. I guess you're the CEO, so I guess maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, and what brought you to this role.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm a geologist by background, so my career has been dominated in mineral exploration. So I started off actually with diamonds, and then platinum, and all sorts of things in between. A decade ago, that our technical manager, Josh Blewett, and we made a discovery over in Africa, in Tanzania, for primary helium. And really, that was the first time about a decade ago that helium was becoming of interest, because of the shortage was really just starting back then. And so I guess we started up what is now this new industry. And so really, I guess, as my background, it's, living as a resident in Tanzania, exploring and basically looking across the country for all sorts of things. And then it happened to be helium. So I didn't really go out looking to get into the helium industry, but I guess it was a case of serendipity. And we made this discovery. Then it was a case of, a lot of research required. And building up, what makes a helium deposit, and why is it different to, say, the hydrocarbons, natural gas and oil? What makes helium different to explore for? Why is it there in such great quantity? And really then applied that globally. We were aware that in North America, so in the US and Canada, this area called the Rift, that area certainly had a lot of interest for helium. It had the right geology, but it was a case of, well, where does one start? It's quite a large area. And so really, when we became aware of that discovery by chance that happened earlier by the explorers looking for nickel and instead found gas, that was really it. And it's a very exciting moment to say, look, we knew this area had great potential for helium. We now know the area to zero in on. And it was really, quite an easy decision to then pursue that opportunity and to create what is Pulsar. I also happen to be working in Greenland quite a lot beforehand as well, and so very familiar with the geology there. And we applied our knowledge with helium to Greenland, and it was very pleasing that in 2021 we then proved that theory correct by finding migratory helium there as well. So that's how it all began.
Looking ahead, Tom, what does the news flow for Pulsar look like over the next 6 months?
Yeah, it's going to be a really great time, actually. It's going to be busy and it's going to be very enjoyable. I mean, we really, as a listed company, we've only existed for just over a year now, and we've got off to a tremendous start. So the focus is on our project in Minnesota, so the Topaz Project. We drilled that earlier this year, and that was successful in finding high concentration helium that then naturally came up to surface. So really, it's now a case of furthering that discovery. And so what we've been doing in the meantime between the drilling and now is collecting additional geophysical data. So that's been seismic data and gravity data mostly. And that, coupled with what we've learned from the well that we drilled, the jet stream well, we find that really it looks like we've just tagged the top of the reservoir, and that there is a considerable amount of material still to drill through. So the overall height of the reservoir that we are now looking to drill into in December next month is roughly about another 500 meters. So that really is quite exciting. So we've de-risked it as best we can with all the data that we've collected. The drill rig will be going out in a few weeks' time, and then going off and re-entering the jet stream well, and then deepening that through the entire height of the anticipated reservoir. But then on the back of that, may well, on a success scenario, have a good positive bearing on the resource estimate that we have out there. And then we'll also start to be looking at the project economics. So the next 6 months will be quite thick and fast. It should be a fun time.
From an investor perspective, what kind of milestones should they look out for over the short term?
Really building on the success of what we've just completed earlier this year with that drilling that we had. So we've only really looked at a fraction of our license area in Minnesota. We've only looked at about 13% of it. And where we've already drilled, we've got extremely high concentration helium naturally flowing to surface. So we got up to 14.5%, the highest rating of helium. And to put that in perspective, the industry regards anything which is 0.3% helium or higher to be of potential economic significance. So having double digits is really quite something. So really building on that success, increasing our knowledge of the reservoir, with any luck, increasing the size of the reservoir, and then going and stepping out from that, building on that success, and seeing really how big is it. And then we also have other opportunities within our license area. As I say, we've only looked at a fraction. So really looking at the other prospects and leads that we have, and then going off and eventually drilling those as well. So really for any potential investor, it's an opportunity to get into a project which is brand new, which has got world-class concentrations of helium, and where we've only really just touched the surface. So with any luck, we can continue with the success that we've had today.